Good day, everyone. Greetings to you all. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. This is an episode of F Your Feelings Friday. Okay, my apologies that we started off a little late, you all. Ich bin spät. Okay, that's how you say it in Deutsch or in German. You all, I had ordered a tripod because mine's fell apart the other day, and so I had to put the tripod together so that way when I come on camera, you all can see me. All right, and we do have a co-host for today, Miss Melanated Chicks will be joining us, and we will be exploring a few different topics. Okay, so court is in session, you all. We have a few things on the agenda. All right. And before we get started, we got to go ahead and get into it, y'all. How was your week? I hope you all have had a wonderful day, a wonderful week. Y'all, we're going to give our testimonies. And we also have to burn a candle. We got to do that, y'all, because there's a lot for us to be thankful for. And we want to manifest our way into this, fruition of what we want for our lives. Okay. So don't let me forget. And you all, we're going to play a game. So we're going to have a game and you're able to win a prize. All right. That's going to be later. I'm glad you all were able to join me today. Okay. This has been an interesting week, okay, to say the least. You all, I've been waking up in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what that's all about. Okay. I've been up, you all. And so it is hard to operate like that. I don't like it. I don't like it a bit, but that's what it is. Okay. We all go through that insomnia or whatever you may call it. I will be glad when we all go through that. Excuse me. I am actually pulling something up. I'm going to share this live stream here, you all. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Okay, if you will. We had a very interesting time last week for F Your Feelings Friday. We had Mr. Black Revolutionary TV himself. He came up on the panel. We had Mr. Solar God himself. He came up on the panel. And we had a very interesting dialogue and discourse. And I enjoy all of that thoroughly. So you all, if you ever want to come up, you want to talk about something, the floor is open, you all. I do not discriminate. Okay, we're all about love over here, y'all. All right. Now, Miss Melanated Chicks wanted to talk about this was an interesting topic, you all, but this is something she chose. OJ Simpson. We'll get into that a little later. I think on the agenda we had quite a few things that we wanted to talk about. Willie Lynch is another topic that I thought was interesting if we can get into that. And I want to talk about men in their hands. Why? Because you could tell a lot about a man's hands, y'all. But if you don't, mind typing in the chat, tell me how was your week? I hope all of you had a great week this week. I can say that I do have a testimony, so we'll go ahead and start off with that. You all, we closed on a house this week, okay? And if I had a little bell in here, I would ring it, ring, 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 okay? I don't have any sound effects or anything, but that was a very, very celebratory moment. We'll put it that way. All right, and so yes. Miss Melanated Chicks, you all, has made her way into the kitchen and she was frying and making some chicken. I mean, not chicken, fish, you all. And last night, something hit my spirit, okay? I'm going to tell you what hit my spirit. I was watching this documentary called What the Health. I've seen it a few years ago, you all. And it goes into the whole topic of what being vegan is like and how it can help and affect your health. You all, since I've said that, I need to go take my herbs. I forgot to take them, y'all, just now. I need to go take my herbs. But it is a very interesting documentary, and I wanted to share some of that with you. I wanted to get into it because we want to talk about why in the world do most people think, especially in the melanated community, okay, that if you do not eat, okay, an unhealthy diet, then that means you lose your black card. I don't know where we get this idea from. We are not trying to go into another year of having heart attacks, diabetes, you know what I'm saying, high blood pressure, all the things that we don't want. So it's good to take care of yourself, you all, as best you can when you're young. That way, when you get older, you're not stuck, with these health ailments, not able to walk in a wheelchair, having all these breathing problems. I thought it was a very interesting document. And actually, it used to be on Netflix, but they have actually put it on YouTube, you all. So we can actually examine and explore that. And I may put it in the description box below when this is all over. Let me write it down, because if I don't write it down, I will forget. Okay. And you all, we have someone in the building. It looks like Miss Melanated Chicks is trying to join us. She has her camera on, but I don't think she has it set up properly yet. So we're just gonna give her a chance to get everything all situated here. But she's backstage, you all, so y'all can't see her. As soon as she comes up, I'll turn my camera on, because I like to give, okay, my guests that same respect that they give me. If their camera is on, I'll turn mine on, even if I'm looking crazy. You know, you all have seen me when my hair was not done. I need to wash it again, you all. It don't make no sense. My hair is shedding. It is what it is. So yes, Miss Vaughn, we can see you. Well, they can't. I can. I can see that you're trying to be here. And then my friend is texting me about some houses, talking about they're scamming in the real estate market. And yes, be careful out there, you all, because there are scams taking place. There are people posing and saying that they are renting out properties, and they're taking people's application fees. They're taking people's money. So just be very aware of that, you all. I just wanted to make that clear, because I did have a situation that occurred yesterday with someone almost getting scammed. What's good? Let me see. I don't even know if she can hear me. Do you want me to bring you up? Let's see. We have a bot, you all, in the freaking chat. Block. I haven't even said anything that was out of sorts. So, I mean, like, what are you up here for? You know, who's watching me? How about that? Nonsense. Okay, Miss Vaughn, can you hear us? Oh
Hold
my
on.
goodness. Yeah, we're being there you are. We see you. We're being watched by some bots. I don't know who these people are that keep coming in the chat. But if I have some moderators, please block them. I guess you're trying to get it together over there. Dun, dun. Look, what's good, Mr. Black Revolutionary? Peace and power to you, King. You know what I'm saying? We had a lovely weekend last time you came on. Shouts out to you for all of your knowledge and expertise. I enjoyed the discourse. We got to do that a little bit more, y'all. We got to have a little bit more of these conversations, because, you know what I'm saying? We got to enlighten the people out here, and that's what it's all about. So I appreciate you and your courtesy. You said on the road now, but we'll connect with the live as soon as I get home. Peace and love to you. That's what's up. Okay, that's what's up. So I don't know what's going on with Miss Melanated Chicks right now, you all. I have removed her from the screen because it looks like she's still trying to get her camera together, y'all. So I can see her, y'all cannot. All right. I should have played a little music. Yeah, every time I play music, guess what happens? That my sound gets messed up on my freaking microphone. That's one thing I can't stand. So, but I love playing my little music. As a matter of fact, I should start it off right now, y'all. Okay. And I did tell Miss Melanated Chicks we're going to play a little game. So, for those of you out there, for those of you, we're gonna block. Why are these bots coming? Why are y'all harassing me? Why are y'all antagonizing me? Why? Like, I'm not even talking about anything. Y'all hating that hard? Goodness, y'all. This don't make no sense. Get it together. Okay? Get your life for real. Look at this. Look at this. I was trying to hide them and put them in timeout. They ended up on the screen. Y'all, what are we talking about over here? We haven't even started yet. We haven't even gotten into it yet. What they don't like it because we said Black Power, peace to you over here. They mad. Y'all got a spy on me. Whatever. And I do appreciate you as well, Melanated Queen, aka Lil Foxy. You know what's up. You know what's up. We in the building. We strong over here. You know, ain't nobody gonna stop us. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I have a mouth and a brain, and I will be speaking and talking when I feel like it. Sick of this nonsense. Yeah. Make sure you join the CEO club, okay? With BGAB yours truly. Okay, I think Miss Vaughn, I think she got it all together. I think she's ready to join. So let me see here. All right, Miss Melanated Chicks. I see you now. Are you good?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and I can see your little cute avatar picture.
Okay. I'm sorry, guys, but
So anyway, I was letting the people know, keep saying Black Power and hard and let them hate. That's right, Black Revolutionary. It's melanated love over here, okay? Y'all can hate all y'all want. We ain't saying nothing wrong. We're saying nothing wrong, haters. But I was letting the people know that court, okay, is in session, all right? And that you wanted to be on the stand as a leading attorney, a defense attorney, if you will, for the infamous OJ Simpson.
oh god.
Oh, yeah, you brought this up. You brought this to my attention. You told me you wanted to speak about OJ, and you all. She doesn't feel that he did it. And I wish I had some video clips that I could share with you all because it's so funny in my phone. I was talking to these guys, and one guy was so adamant that OJ did it. Like, you should have seen it. If I can find these clips, I'm going to show you. I'm going to share it on my screen. But anyway, while she does what she's doing, I think she's eating her fish. Let's get into it, okay? Because we're going to get into these topics that I told you about that we're going to be speaking about, y'all. Okay? While she gets it together over there. And I took my notes and I'm going to find them. And if I don't find them, I'm just going to go off of what I remember that I put on the screen. How about that? Okay? So let's get into it. All right. So you all, I was talking about what the health documentary, and I pulled it up. Now these people basically, since bots have inundated my freaking chat, have basically made it seem like I can't even talk about what the health documentary. So what I will do is bring it up. I'm going to pause it and I'm going to let you hear what they're saying because I don't want anybody antagonizing me, okay, about this documentary. And it's sad that we have to be this way in this world. Okay, so let me see if I can bring it up on the other screen and I'll play it for you all. Okay. Health documentary. All right. So this is what we'll do. We'll do it like this. All right. I'm going to bring it up so you can see it. I'm going to share my screen, y'all. All right. Here we go. Share. Now you should be able to see this in just a moment. Okay. All right. And this is the infamous documentary right here. I have it on mute. Okay. So it's going to come up and you should be able to see it. Everybody should watch this. If you have not watched it, I would very much so urge you to watch this because it has some very good information about why we should not be eating certain things in our diets, why certain things causes diabetes, certain foods cause heart situations to occur, why people are on medication. Some people were given like a couple of weeks to live and they went off of meat. They stopped eating meat. They started getting plant-based. And they started thriving, you all, and surviving. Okay. So let's see if I can pause it. And then I'm going to play it on the other screen for you all because I'm pretty sure that they're going to say something if I try to play this for you.
Oh no. Are you going to try to play it now?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's skip past
Kids
some
by
of it.
age 10 in the U.S. already have fatty streaks in their arteries, the first stage of atherosclerosis leading to heart attacks, strokes.
Here in American medicine, we operate from the disease model. We are in the business of treating sick people. We are not in the business of trying to prevent people from becoming sick.
When you look at chronic disease risk, all the things that we walk around worrying about, actually dietary choices trump smoking when it comes to those risks.
Okay, so I'm going to skip it. You just heard what she said. A lot of things has to do with your diet. Okay, now listen to this part.
For pain and lorazepam for stress, cyclobenzaprine for a muscle relaxer. Also take Topamax and Prozac. And I also use a CPAP machine to help me breathe. And my asthma has been so bad this past year, I use it during the day as well to get some air.
Now, I'm pretty sure we all know of people that have these health ailments, and we all know of people that have some of these medications. You all, lorazepam is for to reduce anxiety and stress. And some of these things that she's doing is a lot of it is because of her diet and because of her weight. So if we skip along and later in the documentary, she's going to tell you what happens when she stops eating meat and she changes her diet. Okay. I'm not going to play the whole thing because I already understand, that we're being watched right now. Okay. But right here on
Who
the
say we're
screen,
being watched?
I know we're being watched because we have bots coming in the chat. That's how I know.
Oh, I can't see it. See, I can't see it.
It says meat may not be so bad for you after all, but there's a catch. Don't listen to that, y'all. Don't listen to it. Because in here, they talk about what chicken does to the body. And I'm trying to find that spot where they talk about chicken, eggs, and dairy. Okay. These are the main things that people need to stay away with. If you are familiar with dairy, you know it causes mucus. Okay. Inflammation. Even milk is full of hormones, it's full of cow pus. I try to tell people this, they don't want to hear the truth. And that's one thing about the melanated community. They don't like hearing the truth. Okay. If you tell them the truth, they get an attitude. Okay. And they rather destroy their bodies. So it's true.
It comes from eating meat and dairy products because it climbs up in the food chain so effectively. So you can get exposed to living near these incinerators and breathing it, but it'll take you 14 years to breathe in as much dioxin as a cow will ingest by eating the grass in one day. And that dioxin will accumulate in its fat, which includes the milk and the meat. And anyone eating meat or dairy products is going to get that dose of dioxin. So it climbs up the food chain every step. Men have no way in their bodies to get rid of dioxins, but women have two ways. They're both involving having a baby. One is that dioxin crosses the placenta into the growing infant, and the other is that it comes out from the breast milk.
All right. So I was watching this doctor that was a part of the documentary last night, and I forget his name, but anyway, he was saying that when you drink milk, do you understand that milk is produced from a pregnant cow? So the cow has to be lactating during the time that they are taking the milk from it, because a cow stays pregnant, he said, roughly about 9 months out of a year, you all. And because of that lactating cow, that's how you're able to get cow milk, which would equate to breast milk, okay, in the form of a human. So you're supposed to be drinking milk from a mammal, such as your own, not from a cow that was meant to sustain the life of a baby calf, you all. And they want to know, why do some children die of what's called SIDS, SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome? Some of those infants cannot withstand the cow milk because it's too strong for their little frail bodies, you all. I don't know if people are aware of that. Excuse me, I have to get up for a second. But you're doing yourself a disservice if you refuse to research and study these things and do better for yourself and your family's health. Okay. So I just wanted to touch on that briefly. A lot of people think that they're being badgered, when you tell them the truth. But I think this is a very good documentary to check out. And I wanted to add this to the repertoire because I think health is wealth and it's a very important part of our lives. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to stop it right there. I would like to examine this in further detail, you all. This is a very good documentary, but I'm not going to keep talking about it. I'll just stop it right there and we'll go on from there. All right, Miss Vaughn.
Hey.
So you wanted to get into this topic of OJ Simpson.
Well, I mean, you and I were talking about the OJ Simpson trial, and I guess everybody's kind of shocked, whenever I'm talking to them, they say, "Oh, how do you feel about the OJ Simpson trial?" Which, I still say right today, because you got to understand this happened like in the 90s. And I believe it was around, I'm not even sure, maybe like around 94, 95. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Pause right there.
Okay.
Pause right there. Okay. Because I have a set of questions. Okay. I have about 21 questions, and we might do a bonus question, right? Because I was going to do an OJ Simpson game. All right. And I was going to let two people, we're going to pick two people to play this game. And whoever get the most answers right, they're gonna win a prize at the end. So I didn't want to say too much about OJ because I don't want to give the answers away in the game. So we get enough.
So we're gonna play the game first, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Because if you start talking about OJ and you give the answers away, then that's giving the answers away.
Okay.
What are you doing over there?
I just said, okay.
She's eating. You know what? No, I tell you what, we'll go ahead and do the game later.
No, let's play the game now.
Okay, so do you want to answer the questions?
I thought we were all playing a game.
Okay, but I don't see anybody in here that's participating. So I can call and see if someone wants to come on and join us.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Let me make a call and see. Let's see. We're gonna call someone and see if they want to join us for this OJ game. While I wait, we're gonna play some music. She probably not even gonna answer. Let's see.
Who is that? Who is that?
It's muted. Melanated.
Oh, it's muted? Okay.
Are you eating too?
Who? I wish I could see the chat. I hate it. I can't see the chat.
Y'all, please stand by. We are trying to get everything together. All right, y'all, we getting it together over here.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Sorry about that little pause, that little break that we had. I should have just played some BGB Brown Girls Are Beautiful commercials for y'all, but I had to assist someone, okay, with some technical difficulties here. So she's going to show up on the screen as Gold Sugar. I don't know if you can even see her name, but that's her right there. She just typed in the chat TSG. She said, hey. So I don't know. Can you hear us, Gold Sugar?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, welcome to F Your Feelings Friday. So good. This was Miss Melanated Chick's idea to talk about OJ for today. So I said, you know what? I thought about this last night. I said I'm gonna put together a little game. All right. So since we have you two on the panel, I am not qualified to play it, but I came up with the questions. So we have a total of 21 questions. Okay. And whoever gets the most points wins a prize. You can pick what you want. Okay. We're going to do a wine glass. We're going to do a set of shot glasses, or we're going to do a mug for F Your Feelings Friday. Okay.
Okay.
So how well versed are you ladies of the OJ Simpson case?
Well, I had to have been about maybe 26 years old, 25 or 26 when it happened.
How well versed are you in the OJ Simpson matter? Hello?
Oh, well, I was 10, but my mother
Oh
watched the trial
no,
faithfully every day. She was definitely deep into it. So I remember, some things pretty well. I bought the book for her, but I did
Oh,
not read
yes.
it fully. I
I
just went
have the
straight to
book.
I just went straight to the hot spot.
Okay.
Right.
But I
So
feel like I feel like for my age, I do know a lot about the OJ Simpson trial.
that was the trial of the century. Do y'all remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Of course. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. It was the trial of the century. You all, let me check my settings and make sure everything sounds good. I'm going to come on camera, you all. All right. So I'm just saying, hey, you all. I'm going to show y'all I got on the F Your Feelings Friday. We got on the F Your Feelings hoodie, y'all. And we got the book of OJ. Okay. It's called If I Did It. Do you all remember this book?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I read this book. All right, and I already know what this book is all about. So, with that being said, we're going to get into this game, you all.
Why do you think he wrote it?
He needed money, okay?
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
So,
it was all about money. Yeah, he needed money. It was all about money.
So we're going to get into. Oh, by the way, Miss Melanated Chicks, do you know how to type into the chat? Because we're going to need you to type your answers in the chat.
Type. I can't see it.
Oh my God, you can't see it, you all. So, all right, how do we know when you got the right answer? Like, we got to figure out a way to get the person to say their answer first. And I was thinking maybe you could type it in the chat, but you said you can't see the chat. So, what's a workaround, y'all?
I mean, it's either who says it first or types it first.
You said whoever sees it or text it first?
I said says it first.
Okay. How about y'all don't have like a bell or a buzzer or anything?
I got some jingle bells at the front door for Christmas.
All right, y'all. Well, she said she can't see the chat. You said you can see the chat. Somebody just tried. Can you see that? Yeah, I see it. I see it, Miss Melody Chicks, but you typed it in the private chat. Type it in the regular chat.
See, that's what I'm trying to get to.
She gotta go to the she gotta go to the YouTube page to get to the regular chat.
Yeah, on a different device. So it might be too much for her to do.
Hold on. Girl.
Oh, you got a laptop or a tablet, and can you pull this live stream up and turn your sound all the way down so we don't have an echo, and then you can type in the chat so we can see your answers.
Okay, so who is this Black revolutionary now?
Yes, that was him earlier. This is stuff he had written in the chat. So see if you can type something right there.
Okay. Some destinations won't get comments. Some.
If your feelings Friday.
You have to have some theme music for F Your Feelings.
You know, I'm about to turn the music back on for real. I had it playing right before you came up. You probably didn't hear it. But I'll play some music because
I don't know if I'm breaking up a little bit or you're breaking up a little bit, but I'm getting a little bit of breakage going on.
Oh, good.
But I don't have a good signal.
Oh no, we can't have you fading out. Oh, everything sounds fine to me.
I saw her message when she said, "Can you see this?"
Yes, but that's in the private chat.
Oh, okay.
Only we can see it. Nobody else can see our messages.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I didn't even see the comments on the other side. Oh, okay.
They're there. I see the comments. Yep. Turn it down, Vaughn. Turn it down. And then type something in the chat. Yep. Turn it down, Vaughn.
I did. I turned it all the way down.
All right. Now type something in the chat.
I did. I turned it all the way down.
All right. Now type something in the chat. You got an echo going.
Wait a minute.
We apologize, you all, for this discrepancy here. All right. Type something in the chat if you can.
Oh yeah, she turned. I can tell she turned it down now.
Okay. We're trying to get. They're trying to get it together, you all. We apologize. Can you hear us, Miss Melanated Chicks? Can she hear us?
Yes.
Okay. Can you type something in the chat? Okay, there you go. We see you. All right, y'all ready? Look, she got it, y'all. We see you, Vaughn.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, y'all. We about to start, y'all. Somebody's about to win a prize. Okay. Question number 1. Whoever can type the fastest, basically that's who gets the point as long as your answer is correct. Question number 1. What was the name of the vehicle that OJ Simpson was driving during the infamous low-speed chase?
She said Ford. I couldn't think of the make of it.
Okay. We got a Ford Bronco in the house. Well, that's one for Melanated Chicks. Okay. All right. Go Sugar. You got one down. Okay. But you got it right. You said Bronco. All right. Number 2. Who was driving the Ford Bronco? We got it with A.C. Collins, Al Collins. She said his best friend. You couldn't think of the name.
I couldn't think of AC for nothing because I don't know how many times I've heard his name so many times.
That was a good one though. You said his best friend.
Best friend AC Collins.
So if I turn the music back on, y'all, is it gonna disturb you or interfere with the sound?
I don't
know. It should be fine.
Okay, I'm gonna try the music. Y'all let me know.
Yeah,
let me know. Okay. All right, let me know. If y'all have any issues, just let me know. Okay?
No, it's fine for me.
All right. All right, just making sure you all. All right, question number 3. How many knocks did Kato Kalin hear outside of OJ's house?
But okay, but is that a true statement?
Remember when he testified on his stand?
Oh, did he lie?
Yeah, he lied.
How many knocks did Kato Kalin said he heard outside of OJ's house when he was on the stand?
Man, I can't remember, but I'm guessing. Oh, she said it first. I think.
You gotta type it in the type it.
I was gonna say 2, but I felt like it was more.
Okay, Miss Melanated Chicks got that one. He said 3. Both of y'all got it, but she got it first. All right. Question number 4.
I hesitated because I thought it was
2. Remember, he said it sounded like he did the demonstration in court.
Yeah. Crazy.
Okay, what did OJ Simpson say he was doing when the limo driver arrived to pick him up and take him to the airport? Why did he say he was late for the limo driver? I'm curious to know. Okay,
Oh,
so
I think I'm wrong. I think
you said he said he was sleeping. Miss Melanated Chicks, what do you have?
That's
That
not
didn't
right.
happen.
Okay, but what did OJ Simpson say he was doing when the limo driver arrived to pick him up? Why was he late for the limo driver?
If we both get this wrong, can we get a second try at it?
You get a second try. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds. 10, 9.
Well,
You
no,
better
I
start
said if we both
typing.
get it wrong.
8. She didn't type anything. 7, 6, 1.
Oh, I
Go.
sense it. I sense it.
Go, sugar. You better.
It just
All right,
didn't
we have
pop up
5
yet.
seconds. We have 5 seconds. 4,
It
3,
popped up. It's there.
2. All right, time's up.
You don't
So
see it? I
he
see it. I'm
said
looking
he
right
was.
at it.
He said he was shooting golf balls. Do y'all remember that?
Dang it! I still got it wrong.
What did she put?
She said he was showering.
Showering.
So nobody got that one. All right. So Melanated Chicks, you got 2. Miss Gold Sugar, she has 1 so far. All right.
Uh-oh.
Question number 5. Okay, this one, you all, is a 5-part question. It says name 5 pieces of evidence. What 5 pieces of evidence did they find linking OJ to the crime scene? Can y'all name 5 pieces of evidence? We play our music while y'all type.
Dang it. I think.
All right, I see. Wait a minute. I see something here. We have gloves, hair, blood, shoes, and keys. Not keys. We did have gloves. They did have hair. They had blood. They did have shoes. There was no keys involved. So you're short of one answer. All right. And so Gold Sugar said gloves, socks, shoe prints, jacket, and hair. What jacket?
The jacket he tried on, and he was acting like the jacket was too small. You remember that?
That was the glove.
No, he did the same thing with the jacket. He did it with a glove and a jacket.
You all do not make me look this up. I'm like,
no. Oh, I got one for you.
I know one that y'all are missing that y'all didn't put.
I added one in there.
There's one that you're missing. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds. 10 seconds to think of it.
I put one in there. My thing is slow coming through.
Okay. Eyewitnesses.
Yes. People said they saw him over there.
What eyewitnesses?
Somebody was walking the dog.
I was Melanated Chicks. You got anything to add on to this?
No.
Okay. The knit cap. Do y'all remember the knit cap?
Oh, it was a hat. I
The
swear it was
ski
a jacket. You about to make me
I don't
look it up.
remember no hat.
Oh my goodness! Because Johnny Cochran was in the courtroom with it. Y'all
with the hat on.
Yes. How could you forget
with
it?
A jacket.
Okay, so both of y'all did not get that one.
I don't know. We might have both got it.
Yeah.
How did y'all both get that one?
Because it was keys and a jacket.
Oh no, we're not doing that. We'll have to double check. No.
Okay, what was the question? What was all the evidence?
Look, we done on that. We're going to question number 6, y'all.
Okay.
Y'all try to hustle me. Both of y'all working together as a team. What kind of stuff is this? What did the limo driver say when he picked up OJ's bags that made people think OJ got rid of the evidence?
I don't know what the limo driver said.
Ooh, Miss Melanated Chicks. I thought you knew this.
That's the reason why I come. I just, I don't believe it.
Well, we're not to that part yet.
No.
And ain't nobody helping y'all in the chat. That's messed up. Got a new bag. That's what you said. Okay, I give it to you. But that's not what the limo driver said. This bag sure is light. That's not it. The limo driver said it was related to the bag. She making up stuff, y'all. That's why she's laughing. The limo driver said that OJ was like, no, I got this bag. I'll take this one myself. That's what the limo driver said. Remember that?
That sounds familiar.
Yes. That's
Sounds
exactly
familiar.
what happened. Okay. All right, y'all. Question number 7. I give you a half a point on that one because you didn't get the whole thing. What city, okay, and state did OJ get arrested in for stealing back his memorabilia?
Feel like I got the city wrong.
All right, so let's see what you got. All right, it's still coming. Oh no, that is not right. Miss Melanated Chicks, you got any
Is the
answers?
state right?
I think that he got it was in Las Vegas, Nevada somewhere.
It was in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah.
So Miss Melanated Chicks got
Well, I feel like he was in Florida. He will never in Florida.
you were supposed to type it in.
Not when he went to go get his stuff back from them people. He was in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Technically,
he was
it's
out there
not related
partying.
to the. Technically, ain't related to the trial, but you know.
Okay. All right. Who can tell me the name, okay, of the trophy that he lost as a result of the trial? Like they confiscated this trophy, and it was a very prestigious trophy. Do you remember the name of it?
You talking about one of the trophies that they stole?
You got
I misspelled it, but I
got
wrote
it. It was the Heisman Trophy.
Okay.
It was the Heisman Trophy. Yep. Yeah, they took his trophy away, y'all. You remember that? All right, okay. This is technically number 9. What was the name of OJ Simpson's defense team, you all? And y'all should know this.
The Dream Team.
You got to type it in the chat. So
She
whoever
said
typed it in the
Oh, I thought that you wanted like all the fabulous 5 or whatever they used to.
you got it right. Okay, you got it right, but you didn't type it.
Oh, okay.
So you get half a point for that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Number 10. Number 10. Who became famous as a result of the OJ Simpson trial?
I don't know. I was gonna put that too. I ain't sure.
Yep. What Kardashian was it? Which Kardashian was it?
The mama.
No, that's wrong. I give you
No.
half.
Oh, Kim.
I give you half.
No, Kim wasn't famous then.
I
She was
said
famous.
who? No, I
No,
said
she
who.
was too young.
I said, but who became famous as a result of the trial?
She didn't come famous from a result of the trial. She didn't come famous until she screwed Ray J. I mean, that's just call a spade a spade. Yeah, now her whole ass mama got famous after the trial because that's when she knew that her husband was sick.
Okay.
And she wanted to finish, like allegedly. All this is allegedly.
Okay, I got you.
Go around, but yeah.
All right. Moving on, y'all. What was the infamous Johnny Cochran phrase in court as he defended OJ
I
Simpson?
can't type that much fast. If you don't quit, if you
You're
don't
not gonna
fit,
get it. If you say it out loud, you're not getting it.
I can't type that fast.
All right. Let's see here. If it don't fit, you must have quit. That is
Yeah.
correct.
I fixed it to doesn't. If it doesn't.
If it doesn't fit, you must have quit.
Yeah.
All right. So do y'all just want to try to say the answer out loud since it's too much to type?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Okay. I just want to make sure y'all both okay with it. All right, y'all.
Okay.
All right. We're moving along. All right. This is a tricky one, and I don't think y'all are gonna guess this. So I'm gonna skip that one, okay? So I'm gonna go down to this one. What was the name of OJ Simpson's judge in the trial?
The first one or the second one?
The one that we remember the most.
Judge Yee? Was it
Judge
Yee?
Yee?
Huh?
Yeeto.
Yeah.
Judge Ito.
Oh,
Judge
that count?
Ito. Yep. Okay, so I think Gold Sugar got that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Who remembers the prosecutors' names?
how many?
The two main prosecutors. Who remembers their names?
Marsha Clark and Christopher Darden.
Yep. All right, you got that one. Miss Melanated Chicks, what's going on over there?
I'm just listening.
She just listening.
I'm listening.
All right, going on, moving on. What type of stuff is that? You playing the game, talking about you just listening. All right, who can give me the name of Nicole Simpson's sister?
Her sister?
Nicole Simpson's sister.
She had a
Can
funny
we get
name.
a clue? First letter.
And I think she
letter.
died too. Her name was Denise or something like that.
Denise. Ding,
Miss
ding, ding.
or something like that. Yeah.
You got it. Miss Melanated Chicks got that one.
Yeah.
It was
I know
Denise.
her name.
All right. Who can tell me the name of Nicole Simpson's friend? The one that had red hair that she used to hang out with all the time.
What?
Oh, shoot. What was that woman name? Because one that was married to a basketball player at one time. I don't remember.
All right. Time's up. Faye Resnick.
Faye Resnick, that's her name.
Mhm.
Okay. That's
Nobody-
her.
That one. All right.
I
All right.
know that one.
What is the name of the lady that OJ was dating when OJ went to trial for the murder of Nicole Simpson?
Oh goodness.
Was he even dating anybody?
These questions getting hard.
Well, when he came out, who was he dating?
When he got out of jail?
Before he went in and when he came out, who was he dating?
No, shoot. He dated a lot of like
I don't know either.
celebrities. He dated like
All right, time's up.
Wait a minute, hold on. He dated like a couple of like
But
models.
you
He
gotta
dated,
know
like,
the
a couple-
name. You don't know the name.
I don't know the name. I just know
Paula
that they were
Barbieri.
like bikini models or something.
No, Paula Barbieri. So nobody got
Oh,
that
that
one.
sounds familiar.
Yep.
Mhm.
Who remembers the month and the year of the low speed pursuit? When did the low speed chase take place when OJ Simpson was going down the interstate? The month and the year.
I'm gonna say September 1994, but I don't know the month at all.
You got the month wrong. You got the year right. All right, Miss Validated Chicks, do you know the month?
June.
June. Okay, so both of y'all get half a point. All right.
Yeah, because it went from June to October. The trial went from June to October.
June to October. Okay, so you just answered the next question, so we scratched that off the list.
They came on every day.
What was the name of the guy that came to visit Nicole the night she got murdered?
The boyfriend.
Allegedly, yes.
I don't know why I can't think of his name.
Me neither. I see his face.
Yup. Should know this one.
Ronald
I cannot.
Ronald Goldman.
Ronald
That's
Goldman.
it.
That's one
it.
from Melanated Chick. She got that one. Okay. All right, y'all. This is the final question. Okay. What was he coming to bring Nicole?
She left her eyeglasses, her
Glasses.
sunshades.
Yes.
Her glasses. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Let me tally this up, y'all. Let me play some music while I find out who won. All right.
I know it wasn't me.
Oh man.
She said, I know it wasn't me.
Some of these questions were subjective, though.
Right.
You know what? Some people just sound like sore losers over here.
All I'm saying is Johnny Cochran did get famous from the trial.
All right, so it's looking like Miss Melanated Chicks won this one, Miss Gold Sugar. But it was close.
I kind of figured that.
It was very close. No, y'all had it was close. She had 7.5, and you had 6.5. So it was real close. All right. So Miss Melanated Chicks, you win the prize. Okay. Is she there?
Congratulations.
What is she doing? I don't even hear her. What are you doing, Miss Melanated Chick?
I don't know, but I'm looking at this evidence.
All right, so let's see. You're looking at the evidence.
Jacket, I know that much.
All right, Miss Melanated Chicks, where did you go?
I'm trying to find it.
I'll have to type in the chat.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, she said her phone.
Okay, now I'm back.
Okay, so now Gold Sugar says she's looking up the evidence, but so I want to get deeper into this whole scenario. Miss Gold Sugar, do you think OJ did it, or do you think he did not do it?
I think he did it.
Okay.
And initially I thought he did not do it, But then once I read the book, I was like, oh, he absolutely did it. But I didn't read the whole book. I just went to, because it was just taking too long to get to the good part. So I just kind of skipped ahead. And to me, it seemed like he did it. I don't think it was a fictional story.
So you think that that black man went to his ex-wife's house and murdered both of him and her together at the same time?
I think he
nobody
might have
got
had
away?
help. I think he probably. What you mean nobody got away?
Like all that blood, like he would have had blood like all over him. It was a lot of blood.
I think he had someone assist him. But the reason I say it is because from the book, it sounds like pretty much, just a normal description of whatever. And then he comes there, and I think he blacked out. But I think he did have somebody with him. So I don't think that he did it himself, because it's no way he can take. I mean, he's, a football player. He's got, a substantial size, and he's got, a little more strength than the little white dude and Nicole, obviously. So it's easy to overpower either one of them. But I think he did have somebody with him. And they just went ahead and, just went ahead and did what they did. But I don't think he went there with the intention necessarily. I mean, that part I don't know. But I think he blacked out. Because I don't know. I just don't know why you would write a story incriminating yourself if it's not true.
So, Miss Melanated Chicks, what is your rebuttal to that? What is she? She must be back on the phone.
No.
Her volume is off.
Okay.
Oh,
Are you having technical difficulties over there?
No.
Okay, so what is your rebuttal to that?
Can you hear me now?
We hear you. Mm-hmm.
No, I just said that I think because it was so much blood.
What were you saying? There's a lot of blood.
Hold on. Now can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Now I can't hear you guys for some reason.
She got technical difficulties, y'all. So while she gets that worked out, I'm going to read an excerpt, okay, from this book, you all. Y'all let me know what you think. Okay, this is called If I Did It by OJ Simpson. It says, are you listening, Gold Sugar?
Yes.
All right. This was in October 1993, almost 8 months before Nicole was murdered. Still, when the trial finally got underway, everyone acted like my lawyers were making this stuff up. They weren't. Nicole had been associating with hookers and drug dealers and unsavory characters from way back. And I'd been begging her to keep those people away from my children. And I went on record with my concerns that night when I spoke to the police about it. Now, here's the weird part. The next day, the very morning after the fight, I was back on the set working when Nicole called. Hey, how are you doing? She said, as if nothing had happened. Fine. Did you play golf this morning? No, I'm working. We're shooting. So everything's good, she asked. She was feeling me out, seeing if I was still angry, and I told her yes. I was very effing angry. F your feelings Friday. She dragged me back to the house and then called the police on me. And all because I was concerned about my kids and about the direction her life was taking. I'm sorry, she said. Great. What are you doing later? Going back to New York? What the hell do you think I'm doing? For the next several weeks, I stayed on that crazy back and forth schedule. I'd be in New York for the sports show, then fly back late Sunday to work on Naked Gun for a couple of days. Then it was back to New York with a stop or two on the way to interview one athlete or another for the show. Sunday night, the cycle started all over again, like my own personal version of that movie Groundhog Day. Okay? So, Miss Melanated Chicks, are you there? Sounds like she's still not there. Okay, we're going to skip.
Well, I'm going to ask you this.
Sure.
I'm going to ask you this. So from the excerpt that you just read, now is that supposed to be like, is that supposed to be real? Did that really happen in real life? Is that supposed to be based on something that actually happened?
This is based on a story that he's telling. Okay, this is based on
right.
OJ's
And
account.
is that?
Well, he said at the
But
beginning.
is that supposed to be like an actual? Okay.
At the beginning of the book, he says, "The luckiest guy in the world. I'm going to tell you a story you've never heard before, because no one knows this story the way I know it. It takes place on the night of June 12, 1994, and it concerns the murder of my ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her young friend, Ronald Goldman. I want you to forget everything you think you know about that night, because I know the facts better than anyone. I know the players. I've seen the evidence. I've heard the theories. And of course, I've read all the stories. That I did it, but I don't know I did it. That I can no longer tell fact from fiction. That I wake up in the middle of the night, consumed by guilt, screaming. Man, they had me even wondering, what if I did it? Or what if I did do it? Well, sit back, people. The things I know and the things I believe, you can't even imagine. And I'm going to share them with you, because the story you know or think you know, that's not the story, not even close. This is one story the whole world got wrong. So he's telling you a story, basically.
Okay, so here's another question. So if your your former spouse and parent to your children were murdered, and you were not the person who did it, would you then write a book about how you could have potentially murdered that person if this is someone that you loved and shared a life with?
Well,
that's extremely dark.
It's very dark, and I think he did it for money. I think that after the trial was over, he had exhausted all his funds and his legal defense team. He hadn't been having a chance to work or to get deals. So a lot of his finances were gone. It's kind of like the R. Kelly situation.
Do you know what I said OJ could have sold for money? A knife set, like a kitchen knife set, probably would have been a good investment. Like those would probably, but I mean, I'm just saying, but then your kids are gonna grow up and then they'll read it. So I understand, like, okay, money is tight, but is that the right route you want to go? Because you still have to, like, your kids are old enough to read right now. So if you wouldn't consider that, oh, my children will read this book and are they going to look at me like I killed their mom? Wouldn't you not think of that?
That is so inappropriate. To sell a kitchen knife set? What type of stuff is that?
I'm talking about the rest of what I said. I'm just saying it is inappropriate, but he don't have to put his name absolutely on it. He could just be in the commercial.
Oh my God.
That's not right either.
Somebody would buy those knife sets. Who would you buy the knife sets?
I think they would cut. I mean, I'm just saying, if you're trying to play off the fact that somebody has accused you of such a heinous crime and you're adamant you didn't do it, but if you're still trying to like monetize off of it, that's a different route that you could take as opposed to writing a whole story about.
Question: what is the name of the two investigators that investigated the case of OJ Simpson that we all know about? Do you remember their
Mark Furman and somebody else?
Detective Van Netter. You remember that?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, because he said, I plead the fifth. They kept asking him all these questions. You remember that? He didn't want to answer the questions.
Yeah. Well, okay. So there's no question that they lied in the trial. But the thing is, I think, now, you know what? I can't say that I wasn't swayed, because there was this show. I can't remember what channel it was on. Maybe it was on the ID channel or something. But it's a show where they bring back some of the jurors. They do an overview of like these major cases. And so one of the things that, because they had one for the OJ trial, and so one of the things that one of the jurors had mentioned was that they, like, the detectives literally messed the whole case up. They did have some of the attorneys, I think, talking about it too. But the whole thing was that because they lied so much and were kind of caught in the lies and things like that, that they're the ones that kind of caused his case to get thrown out. Because had they not tampered with the evidence and lied and all this other stuff, he possibly would have been found guilty. Even one of the jurors said that, but they was like, because they did such a horrendous job and made it, it's like, oh, why are you trying to set the man up? We could have, if we had the evidence that was true and pure, he might would have been found guilty. But because of the detectives, that's what kind of blew the whole case. And I believe that. I feel like, well, you're not credible anymore, so we can't even go off of the evidence. And that's all you can really use to, make that type of decision is the evidence. That's all you can go off of is that. And if they've tampered with that, then what do you have to go off of? There's no weapon. There's nothing, nothing else strong enough other than the evidence that they allegedly had, accumulated from the scene. But
right. Well, okay. So let's say, oh, so you believe he did it, and you believe that even though they tampered with the evidence, he still did it, right?
honestly, during the trial, I didn't think that he had done it. I didn't think he did it during the trial necessarily, or, just didn't want to think that he had done it. But after, I think the book is what did it for me. I think him writing that book and, just kind of some of the former jurors, just them kind of rethinking the evidence and going back over the case, just watching that. Between those two things, I absolutely think he did it. And it was, if I can think of the show, like you have to like find it and watch it. Because what I was gonna say real quick, this is unrelated, but one of the jurors, he was like, he kind of just was like, he might have did it, but he just wanted a win for like the Black community. So it's like, you kind of can't get mad at it from that aspect. If he did, it's just like, well, he ain't go to jail for it.
So that's your logic? That's your logic.
I mean, it's a win is a win. Look how much white people get off.
So you think this is going to hold up in a court of law, ma'am?
What's going to hold up?
What your defense is?
That's not my defense. That's just my opinion.
Okay. That's just your opinion. Okay. So you don't want to be called to the witness stand. Are you a defense attorney right now?
I'm not. I'm more of the prosecution. I don't think that he.
So you're the prosecution. Okay. So you want to
I'm more on the prosecution, and you're on more of the defense side because you think that he.
No, I'm asking the questions. I'm not on either
side.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, melanated.
I think this melanated chicks has completely abandoned her defendant. Like it's going to be a mistrial, you all. He has no legal representation right now.
Well, see, she thinks that he didn't do it, but I'm not convinced that he didn't. I think, I don't know. It's just he said a lot of things during the trial that I want to find my wife's murderer and all of that, and then rather than do that, he puts out a book about how he could have murdered her. He
said if I did it. He didn't say he did. He said if. Okay.
But to take that amount of time to fill the whole back, like he gave a whole lot of backstory in that. So to take the time to be like, I'm going to be so detailed, it's very convincing. Like if there was no such thing as double jeopardy, I think he would have convicted himself just by writing that book.
So speaking of double jeopardy, what Bill Cosby faced, was that considered double jeopardy?
So I honestly didn't follow that case like talking about. All I know is that I guess he supposedly had like a non-disclosure agreement with some of these people, but they still, is that right? Or am I thinking of like Usher?
Say that one more time.
I was asking like what, like I guess with Bill Cosby, like did he already supposedly settle with
well, you remember with Bill
one of these people before?
he had gotten off the first time, then they brought more charges up on him again for the same thing and tried him again. So I feel like that was a breach of the double jeopardy rule.
So, what did he? Why did he get out? What did they use to get him out?
I'm not sure, but if you're saying that someone's not guilty of something and then you try them again for the same thing, isn't that considered double jeopardy?
Well, it has to be. So so for example, for like with OJ, if you redid that exact trial to say you murdered this person and this person, these same two people, you can't do that. But if you're like, oh, kind of like what they did with R. Kelly, that's kind of the same thing with Bill Cosby, is where, oh, well, it's a new person and now I have all these other people. So if you're getting found guilty, you might not get found for every single one of those, people who are allegedly victims or whatever. But if they can, one thing is you have to have, and I said they were going to do this with R. Kelly. So I saw that all the way in the beginning. I know a little bit more about the R. Kelly than the Bill Cosby, even though the R. Kelly trial hasn't even happened yet, but just the way they got him in there. Or it did, whatever, but the way they got him in there. So
Okay, all
basically,
right.
if you can come up with enough charges, basically. So just don't do anything super specific, because that's going to limit the attorney on what they can, kind of convict them of. Do something that's very broad and make sure you have plenty of charges so that something sticks. And I think that's what they did with Bill Cosby. And then they also had like all of these people, but I don't think he went to jail for all of those people. He went to jail for like one person or something like that. So it's like they come in, like an army attack on one person with all of these allegations, all of these victims, to try to get something to stick. I mean, I think it's wrong. I personally don't agree with it. I have an issue as a female. I do have an issue with the whole, situation where, oh, well, something happened 10 years ago and I can bring it up now. Like, that's, if it were a bum on the street, you wouldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna wait and then, bring it up later to be like, oh, this person did something to me. If it was a nobody, you would have immediately gone to, the police, the hospital, whatever. But because it's a celebrity, it's like, oh, well, I'm gonna wait for an opportunity to whatever. I just think that's crazy. I don't even know if it even happened. Who knows? Like, somebody could have been like, we're just gonna, whatever reason that the industry is mad at this person, we just gonna make some stuff up. Like, I don't agree with it at all. I mean, people have excuses for it and try to say like, oh, they weren't ready to talk about it and this and that. Maybe, but I'm not with it, because if that's like, you shouldn't be able to do that in that situation. Like, I don't agree with it.
So, since you brought up R. Kelly, what do you think about that situation?
I think R. Kelly should be free if Bill Cosby is free, because allegedly Bill Cosby was out here raping people, but R. Kelly ain't raped nobody. People was consensual and willing, and I mean, I think he does have a problem, so he needs to be somewhere. I don't think jail is that place, though. I mean, I don't think it's right, and I also feel like so many people just kind of like okayed the behavior. People in the industry, people around him, like everybody knew what was going on, and I feel like as soon as like he's not making us any money anymore, let's do away with him. I mean, honestly, it looks like they're trying to set an example with these black men and sending them to jail. Like, I don't know what they're trying to accomplish, but it's I think it's a bigger agenda, personally, but I think it's completely wrong. I would love to see a R. Kelly versus right now. We're never gonna see one.
So, you mentioned an R. Kelly versus. My question is, who would he go against?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like he would have. I don't know, because he's written for so many people, and like, if you don't even include his own his own catalog alone is strong with just the stuff, his own music, but then to include the other people that he's written for, and I don't know, and like been featured on it, I have no idea. That's a good question. I feel like he'd have to go up against, I don't know. He'd have to go up against, I don't know. I feel like maybe he could have done like Teddy Riley or something, because of Yeah, he would have to probably do like a real official songwriter.
So Teddy Riley already went against
I
someone.
know he went against Babyface, but I think he needs somebody as far as like that caliber, like not just another performing artist, like somebody that mostly just performs. I think he needs somebody that is like really is like a strong pen game. I think that's somebody he needs to go up against.
So who has the strong pen game that could go up against R. Kelly in the versus
I
battle?
don't know. I don't know. I do not know.
Okay.
Who
Interesting.
do
So
you
you
think?
I mean, like I always thought that you somebody that mimicked his style a little bit was Trey Songz, but I'm not
Trey,
saying
mm-mm. I am
I'm
a Trey
not
Songz fan, and he cannot
I'm not
cannot
saying
hang.
I was look, I don't know, but I heard that Trey Songz had some allegations up against him too.
Man,
So
Trey Songz is trying to be a baby R. Kelly for real. Now, you know what? I'm scared for him because so I was listening to Lily T and she was talking about the allegations in the story. Did you hear what the girl alleged?
no, I did not. Because I
All right.
don't follow a lot of that stuff, to be honest.
So I usually don't either, but working in board. So basically, um, okay, let me start off with it. So basically, they previously had relations before and it was consensual. And so I guess it was this particular occasion that he pretty much he did something that she wasn't okay with during the time of and see now like they didn't say at this particular incident like the whole thing wasn't consensual, but it was something specific he did during that. So basically it was involving her anus and she had like damage in the inside. She actually went to a medical facility afterwards and they were like I guess she was bleeding a lot and
Mm,
they
mm-mm.
said it was a lot of damage to her insides and stuff. And so, sorry, that sounds gross, but whatever. But so the fact that she actually sought medical attention afterwards, to me, that's a rarity. Like a lot of times you don't hear that in these situations that, oh, the woman immediately went to the doctor or something like that. So I
Mhm.
feel like that's gonna it could be detrimental for him because it looks like oh something did happen that shouldn't have happened and
Oh,
she actually has like a doctor's report about it. So I don't feel confident for him at all.
I did not hear that allegation.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's interesting. Now, I want to ask you this because we know that behind the scenes, with this whole entertainment industry, a lot of times people make stuff up, but people are obligated, okay? They're obliged to doing certain acts, okay, to keep their stardom, their fortune, their fame, if you will.
Hmm.
And if you may not be aware, Chris Brown is also facing charges as well. Did you hear about that?
Again, for what? For the same
Again,
situation?
similar situation, I believe.
Mm.
So I just find it very ironic that all these allegations are popping up with, similar scenarios that are taking place.
See, when I first heard the Trey Songz one, and I could say the same thing for Chris Brown, I immediately was like, he didn't do it. I was like, somebody just mad, and because I was like, look at him, he don't need to do that. He can get whoever he wants. But the whole doctor visit part is the part that got me thinking like, oh shoot, maybe he did do something. So I mean it's hard to say because anybody can just come out and lie, and that's what they do a lot of times. People just come out and lie. So it's hard to say. I in my like I do choose to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time it's I don't know. I just feel like you need evidence. If something happened to you, you should have went to the hospital. You should have called the police right away. But if you had like a delayed response, then I kind of feel like, okay, well, why did you wait if you were, you know, terrorized?
Yeah, I understand that as well. So, with that being said, with this whole R. Kelly thing, you said he should be free. If he were to get out, what do you think would happen to his career?
I mean, I feel like he does still have certain people. Well, he still has a fan base. Obviously, he absolutely has a fan base. Um, I I mean, I think he could still make music and be okay personally. He probably would have to do it in a more independent level as opposed to major music labels working with him. But people so wishy-washy and back and forth. You never know. They might still be like, "Oh, it's okay, I'll work with you." But because as soon as somebody has, like this bad stigma attached to them, everyone flees. So everybody that was affiliated with R. Kelly now was like, "Oh no, I can't speak your name, I can't play your music." But it's like seriously, like you knew the whole time. Like we all remember back from 2002 or three with the first set of allegations, and it's like, oh, it took 20 years later for you to be like, oh, I'm not associating myself because I didn't know. You knew then, and they had them on tape. So, so to me, it's like I don't know. I think there would be a certain group of people that would still be willing to work with him, but I don't think that it would be. I mean, I don't think he would be just totally like no one would work with him. I think it still would be a certain amount of people that would. And then if he makes enough good songs, then it will all be forgiven. That's what I think.
Got it. Okay. Interestingly, because I noticed that a lot of people there's really nobody standing in this corner in the industry at all. Like everybody's pretty much turned their back on them. So that just kind of lets you know how people are, and that's people in general, but especially in that industry.
The only person that I heard, I did, I remember Life had put out, I think he put out a song about it. I didn't listen to the song, but he did make a statement, and he was like, he said, I don't know who Bill Cosby is in his personal life. He was like, but I know the dude from the Cosby Show. He was like, I don't know who Robert Kelly is, but I asked with R. Kelly. Like you're not gonna stop me from listening to Bumping Ground. That was his opinion about it. But he's also been to jail multiple times too. So maybe he has some type of, sympathy for it or empathy about it. But I mean, I agree with him because a lot of these celebrities and just people on TV, like they don't even have to be in the entertainment industry, athletes, all of them, they have stuff that happens behind the scenes that you don't know about, and then people still support them. You know what I mean? So it's like, if that's his personal life and that's what he got going on, I don't think people should be like, oh, we just not gonna play his music, don't speak his name. Please, you probably got relatives that have done worse.
This is true. So that's interesting take on all of that. Okay. You all, Miss Melanated Chicks, I think she had some type of family emergency or whatever. But anyway, so I took her off the thing. I am going to move along to another topic because I wanted to, and you're welcome to stay, and have this discourse. But I wanted to further examine the Willie Lynch letter. Are you familiar with that by any chance?
Yes, I don't know the entirety of the level, but I know what the intention of the letter was.
Okay, so before we get into the Willie Lynch letter, I wanted to talk about, I also had this as a topic, a man's hands, okay? And I think it's very important, okay, that we pay attention to what a person's hands feel like because they tell a lot about the character of the man, okay? If his hands are soft, they don't do work. If they are overly soft, then that man is probably kind of metro. If the hands are a little hardened, that means he works a little bit of labor with his hands. He's a little handy. And if they're very hard, that means he does a lot of labor work. Those are the categories in how to tell about a man's hands, what type of male he is, what type of work he does, if he's handy, if he's not, if he's metro. There's some guys who don't cut grass because they say they're allergic to grass. There's some guys who don't wash cars because they feel like they don't need to wash a car. And they just want to be like, oh, just take it to the car wash. But I like to have my car hand washed, y'all. I enjoy these things. Why are you laughing?
Can I ask you this question? I want to ask you this question.
You
What
can.
if he doesn't do hard labor, but he just doesn't put lotion on his hands like that?
Well, then he needs to start moisturizing. How about that? No, he needs to start moisturizing because
You
why do you have to be ashy? That's not classy. I
you
remember.
might be deceived by dry hands and think he's a hard worker.
Well, you know what? I have offered lotion to people with ashy hands before, and I'm pretty sure it was well received. I talked about this before. Like, what is the point in not moisturizing your hands, sir? Dude, what are you why are we doing this to ourselves? Like it's damage to the body for no reason. Seriously. And you all, I used to be a Mary Kay consultant. And men too can use the hand satin pamper set. Okay. Everybody can use it. It is a friend to everyone. You can also use it on your feet. It's a scrub, a foot scrub, a hand scrub, the satin lotion, and the little softener. Okay. All of it works together and it works astonishingly well. All right. Now, if you are a male and you would like to order some of that, please hit me up. You know what I'm saying? I can definitely get you in touch with the hand satin set. They have different fragrances. They have basically the no fragrance at all. And there's nothing wrong with a man using this because I have used it, as a demonstration, and males have bought it for me. So it's nothing wrong, if you wanted to order Mary Kay products and do a little hand scrub, y'all. I'm just saying. Why are you laughing? Because I'm telling the truth. That's why. But anyway, moving on from that. Because the other week we talked about men with these caveman beards, and I couldn't understand for the life of me what was the point in that.
I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan either. I think
I'm
it should
not
be
a fan.
tamed. I mean, especially when it's growing out of control, you all. All right, so Willie Lynch, you all. Willie Lynch, for those of you who already should be aware, most of my listeners are aware of who Willie Lynch was. Willie Lynch was basically in Lynchburg, Virginia, hence Lynchburg was named after him. That's where they used to lynch people, hang them, if you will. He wrote a letter and it's called How to Make a Slave, okay? And actually, let me pull it up and I'll show you on the screen, okay? Because there is a Willie Lynch letter. You can pull it right up. I actually bought this. It's called The Makings of a Slave, you all. And let's see if I can pull it up. So they're trying to say that this is poetry prose, but I don't believe it is. Okay. I think this is a real letter. People are contesting this. They're saying it's not a real letter. He didn't really write it. They made us actually study this when I was going to college. We had to study this letter. I never knew anything like this was in existence, you all, until I was grown. I didn't know this was even a thing. But when I read the letter, unbeknownst to me, all of the information here is very accurate. And he goes into detail talking about how to turn people against one another. Okay. So basically, he says in the letter to use the young against the old, use the dark against the light, talking about complexion. So all the differences amongst people, he's saying to use those against one another, and you will always have a good slave. So I'm going to pull this up because I want you all to see this for yourselves, you all. And I thought this was a very good topic to bring up. I know we talked about OJ. I know we talked about, some entertainment stuff, but I do think this is a matter that we should explore a little bit more because I think it's still going on, unfortunately, and it's living, it's still alive. And here it is. It says Willie Lynch letter, The Making of a Slave. Now, listen to this. This is the speech. The speech was said to have been delivered by Willie Lynch on the bank of the James River in the colony of Virginia in 1712. Lynch was a British slave owner in the West Indies. He was invited to the colony of Virginia in 1712 to teach his methods to slave owners there. Okay, in the beginning of the letter, it says, "Greetings, gentlemen. I greet you here on the bank of the James River in the year of our Lord, 1712. First, I shall thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia." Hold on one second. Somebody just popped up. Oh, somebody, I think she went out just now, you all. It says, "First, I shall thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I am here to help you solve some of your problems with your slaves. Your invitation reached me on my modest plantation in the West Indies, where I have experimented with some of the newest and still the oldest methods for control of slaves. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. As our boat sailed south on the James River, named for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish, I saw enough to know that your problem is not unique. While Rome used cords of wood as crosses for standing human bodies along its highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and the rope on occasions. I caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple miles back. You are not only losing valuable stock by hangings, you are having uprisings. Slaves are running away. Your crops are sometimes left in the fields too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires. Your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are. I do not need to elaborate. I am not here to enumerate your problems. I'm here to introduce you to a method of solving them. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On the top of my list is age, but it's there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, sizes of plantations, status on plantations, attitude of owners. Whether the slaves live in the valley, on a hill, east, west, north, south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall or short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slaves, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self refueling and self generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark skinned slaves versus the light skinned slaves, and the light skinned slaves versus the dark skinned slaves. You must use female versus the male, and the male versus the female. You must also have white servants and overseers who distrust all blacks. But it's necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and truly only us. Gentlemen, these kits are your keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity. If used intensely for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's make a slave. Okay? And then it goes on, you all. Okay, it goes on, and this is a very short read. And I would actually encourage everybody, if they have not done so, to read this Willie Lynch letter. And not just read the beginning, read it in its entirety. Go over it with your children. Go over it with your colleagues, your neighbors, your coworkers, people that are in your family, people that you consider your friends, because this is what's going on today in society, and it is still being perpetuated. We see this all across the globe, whether it's on jobs, whether it's in neighborhoods, on YouTube, in your families. People cannot coexist in the melanated family because they are still slave mind and controlled, you all. And I must say this, and I thought there was a very important topic to share, is the makings of a slave, you all. And so that's why I chose to read this. And the next time we come on, we will further examine that letter, and we will compare and contrast how that letter still takes hold today in music, okay, by way of entertainment. When you pick certain people over other groups, it is still being perpetuated, even in the school system. And I think this is something that needs to be talked about. Let me see, is Go Sugar. Go Sugar, you still there? I don't know if
Yeah,
she's
I'm
still
still
there.
here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I do hear you. Were you able to hear what I was reading?
Yeah, I dropped out for a second, and then but I heard majority of it.
What are your thoughts on the Willie
Hello,
Lynch
can you hear
letter?
me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I mean, like you Yeah, I can hear you. Like you said, it's very well and alive today, and it's unfortunate. Um, it's so funny because my middle son, he's 8 years old, right? And so he's very aware of like skin color and things. So he always says, um, like I remember he came home one day and he was like, this person is my friend, but their skin is darker than mine, but they're still my friend. And I was like, that's fine. But he calls it out. And I was like, you don't have to call it out. And I do try to like give them, you race and skin, and racism, and but not to judge people on it or whatever. Um, but I told him, I was like, well, white people are already racist against us. We don't have to be racist against ourselves or, judge each other. Like we already have other people treating us like that. And unfortunately, like I'm explaining this to an 8-year-old, but you have so many grown adults who don't understand that, and it's like just the jealousy and envy, and especially as a female, because obviously females are way worse with it than males are. I mean, well, used to be, because at this point, who knows? But it's just unfortunate that what he wrote in the letter was true. I mean, I think it's going to go beyond the hundreds of years. It probably will go on until the end of time, honestly, because there's no way to just kind of corral everyone into the same train of thought. It's just impossible. It's too many different segments of Black people with different like mind frames. Like some people you just are not going to reach. I mean, some people they can attempt to kind of like, change their way of thinking, but I think yeah, I mean, I think it's indefinite, honestly. It's unfortunate, of course, but it worked. It's still working.
Okay. Thank you for that insight. Now I'm gonna expound a little bit more into the letter. So I'm going to share my screen once more, and I'm going to read when he talks about language and how this also affects us to this day, because we do not have our mother language, our mother tongue is, if you what you would call it.
Right.
We have this bastardized language that has been forced upon us called English, and it says the controlled language. Okay, crossbreeding completed for further severance from their original beginning. Okay, so he's saying that they're going to crossbreed us, and it's been completed, and they're going to sever us from our original beginning. So that's basically tearing us away from our origin. We must completely annihilate the mother tongue of both the new, and he says the N word, I don't say the N word, the new N word and the new mule, and institute a new language that involves the new life's work of both. Language is a peculiar institution. It leads to the heart of the people. The more a foreigner knows about the language of another country, the more he is able to move through all levels of that society. Ich verstehe. What I just said to you, I'm speaking German. I said, I understand. So that way, if I'm able to go to Germany and I can read, write, speak, and understand the language, I don't have that barrier. But if you keep that language barrier, we can't connect. So this is what he's saying to you all. And then he says, therefore, if the foreigner is an enemy of the country, to the extent that he knows the body of the language, to that extent is the country vulnerable to attack or invasion of a foreign culture. For example, if you take a slave, if you teach him all about your language, he will know all your secrets, and he is then no more a slave, for you cannot fool him any longer. And being a fool is one of the basic ingredients of an incident to the maintenance of the slavery system. Let's stop right there for a minute. Do I have your attention? F your feelings, okay? It's Friday, and we talking about it today. How many ignorant people do you know in this world? I'll wait. Ignorance is all around us, you all. I'm gonna come on camera for this one. Ignorance, you all, is all, hold on. Why is it? Hold on. Ignorance is all around us. It's all around us. And not only is ignorance around us. Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I don't have my device connected. That's why I can't come on camera. Not only is ignorance all around us, it is perpetuated. This is why I get so infuriated and irritated and annoyed with a lot of this stuff, and I tune out from it. It's in the music, It's in the videos, it's in the media, it's everywhere. They're pushing the narrative, you all. They're pushing ignorance, especially to the melanated community. Listen to the music. I can't even listen to the radio anymore. It lacks any type of substance. It doesn't even have a clear meaning. I remember when music used to actually tell a real story. It actually had some type of meaning. It no longer does. So this was also
But it's
constructed.
deliberate, you know?
Yeah. What do you mean by that it's deliberate?
It's deliberate because, you know, if you don't like the music is like everyone listens to music. Music is powerful. And so if you're saying something powerful in the music, then it's like, oh, okay. You know, you're opening the minds of people or educating people through it. So it's like, nah, leave the music ignorant so they don't learn nothing and they just become what the music is. And that's basically what it is at this point.
Exactly. Do you know how many people are like acting just like what they hear in the music? Literally. And they really try to
Oh
imitate
yeah, but who wants to be like that?
everybody that goes along with it. Like how many people have you seen holding money up to their ear?
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember it was this documentary I was watching, specifically about like hip hop and black music or whatever. And they were just talking about, you know, like how when certain atrocities took place, you know, in the country, the music kind of was a reflection of how people reacted to it. And as time has gone on and the music is less meaningful, when things happen, like people don't really even have a reaction to it as much because it's like you don't really have a message being sent out. So mostly the youth. I mean, I feel like this next generation coming up is probably kind of doing a little bit better than previous years, but it's very influential and they know that, and so they try to make sure that the influence is a negative one as opposed to a positive one. And you know, I'm just gonna say this real quick because you were saying you know, I was talking about ignorance and whatnot. And I remember it was this poet, and he was like, ignorance is bliss, and inwards love this. And it was basically just saying, like, people use it as an excuse. And there was another part in there where he was like, you know, the black people were like, I lost my roots, so they can just be however they are. But it was a good point because it's like, if you just ignorant to stuff, it's like that's an excuse, so you don't have to try to be better. And I think that a lot of people are completely content with it. It's like I'd rather not know than know. So that's not going to be my excuse. Is that I don't know any better, but it's a deliberate excuse. It's so irritating.
Right. So basically, no, speak your mind. That's why we have an F Your Feelings Friday, because it's F Your Feelings. We don't care how you feel. We're telling the truth on Friday. We're telling how we really feel. Like, a lot of people, I just don't associate with it because I don't have the patience for it. Like, if you talk to me in a certain type of way, a certain type of tone, you can't formulate a proper sentence. And I'm not saying you have to speak proper English, but if everything you say is, you know what I'm saying, and then because you're mumbling, like mumble rap, like stop with that. It's some nonsense because you're not even looking at yourself as better than that. You think that this is how you're supposed to act because everybody else is acting that way. And basically, you don't care about where you live. You know, you think, because you're from the hood, you got to act that way. You don't. And I'm going to show you this. This is all perpetuated. All right, so let me share my screen and we're going to read this part. Why people always talk about being from the projects, being from the hood, and they talk about it like it's something. Yeah,
but I'm so sorry. That annoys me because I'm like, every time you see somebody like a celebrity, they get on an interview, they make it. Everybody is from the projects. Like, I'm like, no, like that's not my. And they're, and it's supposed to be this thing about, I'm trying to be, like you're supposed to be relatable by saying that. I was like, I grew up in the suburbs. Like, I locked my doors in the in the bad neighborhood, just like a white girl. But I mean, that doesn't make me any less black or anything. But it's like, why every time somebody come up, they gotta always have been from the project. Like, we didn't all live in the projects. Like, why is that like a thing that is trying to be fed? Is like, all black people come from the projects. I'm pretty sure white people probably think that that's a true statement because every time you see a black person come up on TV, they from the hood or they from the projects. No, that is not true. We not all from the projects. And it's like, you gotta search and find somebody. And even sometimes you'll see an educated person get right on TV, and it's like, because we struggled as children, like that. But that's not all of us. Like, I want to see somebody, like, more representation of, like, we're not all from the hood, we're not all from the projects, because I feel like, to some degree, by continuously repeating, like, black people project, like, you're in some type of way, you're putting that into somebody's mind in a negative way, although maybe they're trying to have, like, a positive spin, like, I made it out of this. But you're like, I don't know, I feel like when you hear it so much, it's locking in, but not maybe in the way that you want it to, in my opinion.
Okay, very well stated, very well articulated. And I must say, that's what Brown Girls Are Beautiful stands for. Brown Girls Are Beautiful is about everybody, not just, acquiescing to the stereotype that we see every day that's perpetuated in the media, which is why I, established and formulated Brown Girls Are Beautiful, because I'm trying to set the example of which I wish to see, in the universe. And so on a universal level, I know that when we come into this world, the creator doesn't look at us and say, "Oh, you're of the hood, you're of the projects." No, the creator puts us here and says, "I'm putting you on the planet. This is your world. Go be fruitful and multiply, and make good of your life. Do the best that you can on this journey. Not get out here and act a complete fool because you came from the projects in the hood. That is not the point of life."
I feel like we're probably, like, the most diverse group of people just on the planet, period. And so, like, we need representation in so many different, like, ways. Like, okay, for example, like the hood thing, like, it's like, oh, black people are always from the projects, they're always from the hood, but that's not the representation for all of us. And I remember I was telling somebody, because somebody had made a shirt, and it was like, keep, like, natural hair on the girl in the picture. It was like super tight, kinky curls. And I was like, well, my hair ain't like that. Not to say anything about it, but it's like every time you see a representation of, like, black hair, it's like kinky, tight, curly. And I'm like, not everybody's hair is like that. Ain't nobody hair straight. It's not all, like, it's so many different textures. It's so many different complexions. Like, we're such a diverse group of people, but it's like it like, that diversity isn't, I don't know, I don't feel like it's exposed or accepted, or like black people want it to be just one thing or something.
Not properly represented. That's what I would say.
Say it again.
Not properly represented.
It's not. And I feel like I'm not really light skinned. I consider myself peanut butter. But when you have like I don't know, I feel like it's always like the darker the skin is like the blacker the person. But I notice a lot of times when I'm looking at stuff with who stood for what, it's usually a light skinned person, but they're not, when it's like black power, that's not the representation of black power. Is really light skinned person. It's usually supposed to be like the darker skin, in my opinion. So I don't know. It's just like we don't need to have like one thing that represents us for anything, whether it's the hair, skin, where you're from, stuff like that. It's like we're from everywhere. We look every type of way. We're a rainbow of brown. Like, it's just annoying, just a little bit. And I want to say this back to okay, I'm so sorry, but real quick, back to the ignorance thing. That's like I was trying to educate somebody pre the election, the presidential election prior, and I was like, oh, I'm not voting for Joe Biden, and I was trying to tell them about all of the comments that he had made when he was trying to get that crime bill passed. And I sent her these videos, and I was like, he was straight talking trash about us. I was like, it ain't no more racist than that. And she was like, oh, well, he apologized. He said it years ago. And that's where it goes back to like that ignorance being bliss again. It's like you're choosing to be ignorant, like just to be like, oh, it's okay. Like I was so irritated by that. I was like, I'm done. Like, and you're how old? You're almost 50 years old, and you're just gonna excuse somebody's racism or racist behavior and talk or whatever, and be like, he apologized. Like, please. That man was like 60 years old when he said that. You think he changed his mind? Please.
Absolutely not. And I mean, that goes back to what I was saying before you came on earlier. I was talking about what the health. And here's the thing. Like I was explaining that was a great documentary to watch for people that are having health ailments. If you're having situations that are affecting your health, you might want to examine your diet. But a lot of melanated people, if you say this to them, they get offended, they get defensive, they don't want to hear the truth. Just like what you were saying, they want to be blissfully and willfully ignorant. You can't have a conversation with anybody like that. So they suffer and they perish because of their lack of knowledge and their blissful ignorance. So I think
I
what
feel
you
like it's a I don't care situation.
really,
When it comes to like the diet and stuff, it's like people know certain things, and it's like, well, I like these green beans and collard greens with this bacon in it means more to me than what you're talking about. Like I'm gonna get, what is it when you get like immediate satisfaction or whatever you call it?
instant
It's
gratification.
like instant gratification. I'd rather have that than the
Right.
extra 10 years of my life.
This is true. This is very true. So look, let me go ahead to share my screen because I want to get to the rest of this letter. But exactly what you're saying is very, very true. And this is why I think as a whole, as a people, we will not and cannot get anywhere. And so you got to stop putting everybody, like you said, in that one collective group because we are all not the same. You cannot do that. But it says here, like we were just saying, being a fool is one of the basic ingredients of any incidents to the maintenance of the slavery system. So people don't realize that even though they think they're physically free, mentally they're still enslaved. Okay, they're still in shackles and chains around their brains. It says, let's see here. In addition, the definitions of words or terms are only a minute part of the process. Values are created and transported by communication through the body of the language. A total society has many interconnected value systems. All the values in the society have bridges of language to connect them for orderly working in the society. But for these language bridges, these many value systems would sharply clash and cause internal strife or civil war, the degree of the conflict being determined by the magnitude of the issues or relative opposing strength in whatever form. For example, if you put a slave in a hog pen, now listen to this. If you put a slave in a hog pen and train to live there and incorporate in him to value it as a way of life completely, the biggest problem you would have out of him is that he would worry you about provisions to keep the hog pen clean, or the same hog pen and make a slip and incorporate something in his language, whereabout he comes to value a house more than he does his hog pen. You got a problem. He will soon be in your house. So what he's saying is basically keep them on a lesser level. Like if you put them in the projects, keep them in the projects. Okay.
Right.
Because if you take the project mentality out of him and show him that you can live in the suburbs, you can live in $1 million house, a $500,000 house, a good neighborhood, he's going to be in your neighborhood. We don't want that. So let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. And I know you know firsthand as a realtor, so I know you can talk a little bit more. I'm going to say, even as a non-realtor, I bought my second house last year.
Congratulations.
And, my fiance.
Major accomplishment.
So he, it was his first house, but it's my second. And so, we've always, because we went through the process and we see, I guess like it's not as hard as it seems to be, because I feel like as a non-homeowner, just it seems like an intimidating process. It seems like, oh, I can't, like people, I don't know where that came from, because it wasn't that bad in my experience for buying a house. Like you don't realize what you're able to attain. And so, I know he always is like telling people at work, it's the specific person he's telling me about. They live kind of more in a hood area. They make good money. We know that. Well, you know that. So they make good money. And he's trying to tell him, oh man, you need to go ahead. Why don't you invest in a house? It's an investment. It's going to, accumulate in value and, whatever, explaining just the basics. And, he's like, oh, I don't think I can do it for whatever reasons he's given, not anything good. nothing, no good reason. And so, so he's telling them, he's like, well, if you just find out, talk to a realtor, talk to a banker, or not a banker, but a loan officer. And it's like no effort, It's just like, I don't, like, they just give up on it. And I think it goes back to what you were just reading about, as far as the mentality of like, oh, I like not having the aspiration for anything better because you're content with where you are. And then even still, I'm gonna say this, even still, like, it's so funny because you'll see somebody move from a project to like the upgrade of the project. But I mean, it's a house, a nicer house, but it's like, but look the area you're still in. You could still be in a better area than what you're in. Like, you don't have to be near factories and railroad tracks, whatever is,
Right.
that isn't necessarily the best thing to have in your area. So it's very difficult. I mean, I'm saying it as just somebody that, gives other people advice to say, oh, you could probably, why don't you try to get a house? Just trying to be, helpful and advise people, because they probably don't realize that what they are capable of getting. But they stuck in that mentality, like, this is what I know, I'm content, and I'm not going to shoot for anything better. And it comes from that Willie Lynch letter, girl.
And my sentiments as well. Like, I would say, even think about the economic future of what you can provide to your children. Like, people don't understand the parameters of what it is to be stuck in financial constraints when you lease and when you rent, versus when you actually have equity that's building up in a matter of 2 to 3 years. It adds up and it goes faster than what people really think. Like, I know you just sold your first house and bought a brand new constructed house, and a lot of people are like in their 40s and 50s and haven't even purchased their first house. And a lot of what I'm hearing is because they are scared of the 30-year commitment. This is what I heard someone tell me, is because they're scared is a 30-year commitment. And I'm thinking to them, like, do you understand that you're not stuck in the house? Like, you can sell after a couple of years if you wanted to. You're not in a commitment, and then you could lease it, you can rent it. Can you do that with your apartment? Can you do that with your townhouse? No, you cannot. If you're leasing it, you're not going to get the benefits of your investment. And so I think that's one thing where other cultures have been educated in these ways, because they're buying houses a lot younger than the melanated community, like in their early 20s, acquiring real estate and investing into stock, cryptocurrency, owning businesses. And you have people that are in their 40s and they're just starting to think about these things. And that's why they're, some people are further ahead and some people are trying to play catch up. And this is why we have the economic gap, because people are more enamored with the celebrity life, and they're not celebrities, and they're not living that life because they don't even have the economic resources to live that life. So why try to perpetuate in the projects, that this is what you have. And it's just like the letter said, they'll worry about keeping the hog pen clean. They're not worried about getting out of the hog pen, just as long as they don't think about leaving the hog pen, because then they'll be in your house, and we can't have that. That's the letter of Willie Lynch, and people are okay being that way.
Right. And that's like when your car is nicer than your house. Like, your car don't even look like it belongs in the neighborhood that you live in.
Right.
Like, stuff like that is like, or it's somebody else. It's another person that I'm familiar with, and they instead of like them being smart with their money and say, okay, I'm gonna buy a house, they like have a car, paid on the car for years, and like, oh, I'm gonna go trade it in, and then I'm gonna trade it in again. Like, it's like, why are you extending the lifetime of this car payment, and you could just pay it? You're already almost near paid off what you got. Pay it off and buy yourself a house. Like that stuff like that just doesn't make sense to me. And you know what? Also, it's just like, it's up to us to like educate our children, our nieces and nephews, and the next generation on what they're capable of. Because I know I asked somebody, we went past like this particular area, and they were like, oh, I used to live over there. I was like, you live there? Because it wasn't a good neighborhood. And I was just kind of surprised. And I was like, why did your mom have y'all staying over here? He was like, she didn't know she could do any better. I was like, that's crazy. Because it's like, you know, people are scared to like get out there and I guess just take like a little leap. It's not even like a big leap though. It's like, if you can do it, you can do it. But I'm sure, you know, you'll have something to fall back on if it doesn't work out. But it's really sad. I was going to ask a question to you in regards to the previous part of the Willie Lynch letter that you had read when he was talking about basically just keeping the Black people divided and picking each other apart. What would be your, I guess, suggestion or idea of how to, I guess, bring Black people back together? Like, and not be so petty and jealous and envious and, you know, just tear each other down.
Great question. Actually, you're one of the first people that have come on the panel and interviewed me. So shout out to you. What I would say is you actually just missed our last panel, our last FEO Feelings Friday. It was a great build. Black Revolutionary TV was on, the guy from Canada, and he was actually talking about that. And Solar God was on, okay? And we talked about these things. I really, to be honest, to get us collectively in unity as a whole, I don't really think that's something that is a foreseeable thing. And I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm just being realistic because this Willie Lynch syndrome has basically infiltrated and indoctrinated the minds of the youth, of the old, of just a lot of people. And they do not want to come out of that mindset because they're more comfortable being in it. So let me give you an example. So like, okay, say we were to both live in the projects, right? We both came from the hood. And I'm looking across the street at your house, and maybe your house has a porch and mine's does not, right? I have a garage, but you don't. We get into an argument, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, with your messed up house, you don't even have a garage. I got a garage on my junk, like something stupid like that." But we're in the same neighborhood, so we don't understand that the value of the houses in a neighborhood is determined by the area, right? Even if you like, say someone came and tried to build a mansion in the projects, that mansion is not going to be worth as much because that neighborhood is still like a low income neighborhood. It has to get built up. So until we get out of the mindset that we are not each other's competition, because we don't have much more of any more than what the next person has, really. Most of us don't. Unless, you know, you come into some type of wealth or you know some people or whatever. But we're not each other's competition. And that's the thing that people fail to do. They get comfortable making each other feel like they're the competition because it's easier to target them than to go outside of what they're comfortable, you know, thinking about. Like, so they don't want to go to, like, they would never go to like a prestigious neighborhood and just start harassing them and taunting them because they know they're going to get dealt with. You know, they know when the police come, they're going to get locked up and go to jail. It's not like, oh, you're going to come out, take a police report, nothing happens. No, they see no value in one another. So if you don't see value in one another, you will never have unity. You will never come together. So it's going to take many years of undoing the indoctrination, but you have to want to have the change. And I don't think enough people want to have change. I think enough people want to be distracted. This is why a lot of people focus so much on celebrity gossip. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, but then we went into something that's, you know, more important because we understand what's going on in the world. Most people like to live in a perpetuated state of entertainment so they don't have to face their problems. Then when you start telling them the truth, like I was saying earlier, they get defensive, they change the subject, they don't want to hear it. So they rather be comfortable and they rather believe a beautiful lie instead of the ugly truth is what I call it. So, did that answer your question?
Okay, so for these same people in that neighborhood with the porch versus the garage, right? Do you think that I guess for these people and just for people, period. Now, do you think that it is easier to, I mean, I guess tear someone else down as opposed to celebrate them? Like, what do you think?
Oh yeah, all day. Obviously, it's easier to tear. Think about how easy it is to pick someone apart. Like if, say, you were at the Apollo, right, and this happened to Lauryn Hill, and you can still pull this up. It has 13 million views. She got booed off stage, and I remember back in the day when she got up there. I remember we were living in Germany when this happened, and she got booed off the stage. Right, it's easy to boo her off the stage. Imagine how much courage it takes to get up there and sing in front of all those people. That takes more courage. It's easy to be in a
Right.
crowd with everybody else and have the comfort of everybody that's booing instead of the one that stand out getting booed off the stage. So that's a testament to her character and her strength and her power. She didn't quit, and she came back to perform at that theater, and she was famous then, right? Everybody knows her as Lauryn Hill. So
Mhm.
that's just one of my examples. Yes, it's
Right.
very easy to tear someone apart than it is to build them up, because it makes people, again, comfortable. They're comfortable. But I have always been one that wanted like build people up. So that's why I built, and established Brown Girls Are Beautiful, because I just see so much of it, and it's very sad. I don't see the other communities tearing each other down. Like, you're talking about weave. Oh, you don't have edges. You're talking about just everything that you can think of. Like, it's just stupidity to me, because what are we really talking about?
And
How
so
is that
all
really
of
going
this,
to impact everybody?
all of this derives from the Willie Lynch letter. Because if you
It
think
does.
about it, it kind of all goes right back to it. And I know we were watching the verses with Bobby Brown and Keith Sweat, and my mom pointed out how bad they were tearing them down in the comments. And it's just like, who are you? You don't have, I mean, I can only imagine being a celebrity and people just with the constant criticism. It's like, to the celebrity, they're probably like, you're a nobody. And I wouldn't be, I would imagine I wouldn't be bothered by it to think like that. But it's like, why? Like, for what? I mean, I understand, like, everyone has certain pet peeves and things that annoy them and whatnot. But it's like, to dwell and just, I don't know. I think it takes so much more energy just to be negative like that. And it's like, it creates an unhappiness within, unless there's, the existing unhappiness within, and then you're just, outputting that on other people. But I feel like it probably does all go back to, I mean, I would hope that that's where it goes back to, and it's not just because, like, so if you go to Africa, they didn't have the Willie Lynch situation going on, did they? No?
Well, even in Africa, they've been indoctrinated a lot through religion, through Christianity, through the Jesus character that they know as Jesus. Christianity was not an African practice. African,
Oh, definitely not.
yeah, melanated people are spiritual people. They're not necessarily religious people, but this was something forced upon them. So they had to acquiesce to praying to a Jesus, praying to a Jesus, not even knowing if that character was true. Now, we remember hearing that, what was it? There was a slave ship named Jesus. Okay, so that tells you a whole lot right there. And so with the Willie Lynch thing, it still, I think, has reached across to that territory, because there are some places, even in Africa, where they practice colorism. Like in Eritrea, if you look at them, a lot of them look like Somalians. They're just lighter complected. They look like Ethiopians. They're just lighter complected. And they actually have, colorism on the east coast of Africa as well. A lot of people don't know that, but that does exist. I remember last week we talked about Muammar Gaddafi, which is a very high,
Oh, yeah.
high, yeah, light complected man. But what he stood for is
Mhm.
something that everybody could relate to. So that's where I guess the colorism, nobody pays attention to the color, because it's all about what that man stood for. And I think once we start
Right.
overlooking color, a lot of people don't want to do that, and start looking at the person as an individual, then we can get somewhere. Most people that
Well
would look at
spoken. Well
yeah,
spoken.
well, I appreciate it. Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, that's my answer. I think is, yeah, definitely easier for people to try to tear people down, because that's what everybody else is doing. they're operating on a low vibrational frequency. And I think a lot of people just want to be negative. I think and it gets deep. Like, these people have studied our melanin. Like, they understand the vibrations of music and what bass does to us. If you actually play music and put it near liquid and study the molecular structure, the liquid will take shape to the sound. So a lot of the frequencies they play to us on the radio is very low vibrational. So it's on purpose.
I remember I remember listening to no, it wasn't it was kind of like a documentary about just sounds in general, like let alone music, and just kind of I'm not gonna say the words rightly, but the speed, or I guess, of the beat and things like that, and just kind of how it causes like your heartbeat to change, and then your breathing of course changes, and all of that affects like your behavior and whatnot. So it was very interesting.
Absolutely. And even people may not be aware, but your brain picks up on sound waves that you can't even hear. That's how sensitive we are as
Right.
human
Yep.
beings. So when they say, like when you're pregnant, allow your child to listen to classical music and things like that, it's very important not to have your child, being around negative things in the environment, arguing, being upset, hearing all these negative things, because the child is formulating and they're taking all of that into their genetic structure. When a lot of children are born,
Oh yeah.
they want to classify them with ADHD. Usually melanated boys, they're saying they have ADHD. I don't believe that. I just think that melanated boys, they're just highly, they just have a lot of testosterone and they have a lot of energy. They need to burn it off. If you look at I always say observe nature. Look at the animals and you can learn the most. You don't see lions taking medication because their calves and cubs are like, cubs are like too, active. If in fact, if they're active, that means they're dominant. So he's probably an alpha male. You know what I'm saying? He probably is going to be good with his hands. He probably wants to go venture outside. He might climb trees. This is the nature of boys. But if you take them to the doctor, a lot of doctors want to put that claim that they're ADHD, which I don't believe they are.
I remember when my oldest son was younger and he was so hyper. I was like, this can't be normal. And I used to ask, and I finally stopped because I was like, I would probably feel away if they did label him. And I would ask her, I was like, is he like hyperactive or something? And she used to always tell me, no, he's just a boy. Like, this was an older white lady, and she was like, no, he's just a boy. And I was like, okay, because this energy level is like, oh, like it can't be normal. And she was like, that's just boys every single time. She never, like questioned anything or wanted to categorize him or anything. And so I always tell other people that when they're like, their kid is like off the walls. I'm like, well, I know my doctor, my son's pediatrician was like, boys are just like that. And I think they are. I mean, first of all, kids are like that, period. Like kids, girls, boys, they're all like that. And then boys are, kind of like times 10 when it comes to that. So, yeah, I mean, you have to do what works for your child. As I'm not completely non-medication, but I am mostly non-medic. Like if it's avoidable, then let's avoid it. So, people need to do what like works for them. You got to find some workarounds. Let your child. One of my kids came home the other day, and he seemed not frantic, but he seemed like he had way too much energy inside, and he was trying to sit down and do homework. I was like, do some jumping jacks real quick. And I was counting until he got tired just so he could burn off some of the energy, because they just have a lot of energy. And then especially with school, they're supposed to be sitting. I don't even do good sitting as an adult for 8 hours, 6 hours. I don't do good for sitting for 3 hours, honestly. So, a child with much more energy, of course, they need to burn it off. So sometimes it's like, all right, before we try to sit down and do anything, let's burn some of this energy off, and then let's try to revisit this sitting situation. And it worked, honestly. I had both of them do it. I'm like, all right, you seem like you're in the mood today, so let's do some jumping jacks.
Well, I mean, think about it.
You make it fun or whatever, so that they don't feel like I'm being forced to do something I don't want. Just make it fun. They don't think about it, and then they're like, oh wow, I did 50. I beat your number. I did 58, whatever.
Right. But look at every young animal in nature, like when they're very, very young, the offspring. They're very active, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
playful. Like we see it
They're
on
supposed to
the
be.
Discovery Channel. That's normal. So you're talking
Mm-hmm.
about, I mean, these children are basically coming out of toddlerhood, going into like, I guess you could call them little children at that point, but they're just coming out of toddlerhood. So they're going to have a lot of high activity, energy in them. Why do you think that they're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to sit at a desk for 8 hours? Like you just said, as an adult, that's difficult to do. We've been trained, we've been indoctrinated, we've been Willie Lynched. Okay. We're not even supposed to be doing that to
Well, you
ourselves.
know what I think?
Mm-hmm.
I think that you have a lot of lazy parents. You have a lot of lazy parents. So I feel like if they go to the doctor and somebody's like, oh, and you just say like, oh, they're hyper, and they're like, oh, well, let's see if he's ADHD or hyperactive or whatever, and the parent don't want to deal with all that extra energy. I think some parents are just willing to be like, sure, let's take something to calm this kid down because I don't feel
Right.
like dealing with it. Like you have to. When I tell you, no, parents are lazy. Like they don't use their energy to help get the kid, like if the kid maybe they just need to go for a jog or do something to burn the energy off a little bit. They don't know. They just like, you need to sit down, and they can't sit down. It's like, well, what are you doing to help them, get this out of their system so they can kind of, because all kids get tired eventually. Like no matter how old they are, eventually they're going to get tired. Some just take longer than others.
Right. Yeah.
So I think some of it is a little bit on the parents and just allowing the doctors to just put that label on and give them some medication so they don't have to deal with it. I do believe that. I
You
found out how
definitely
lazy parents were when this pandemic hit and everybody was trying to send their kids back to school.
right. I mean, you definitely have to be interactive with children. Children require a lot of attention. They're just like, say you have a kitten or a dog. Anybody that has had a pet knows that you can put that pet, in a room by itself, but it's going to come in there where you are. It wants your attention because that's just the nature of living creatures, is to have attention. And children are like that. So,
Girl, I hear my neighbor's dog barking. I can hear my neighbor's dog barking in the garage as you speak because that dog ain't getting no attention and he locked away. He got energy to burn. This is every day.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that can be quite annoying.
Just saying.
Oh my God. If I heard a dog howling in the middle of the night, I'd probably be trying to throw something. Shut up. Nah, but
This
I
dog
don't,
was
yeah,
been barking since it was
I don't
light
believe in
outside. So
I don't believe in animal cruelty, y'all. Definitely don't want to hear no howling dogs.
girl,
Whatsoever. But you
we kind of went all over the place.
We have, but it's been a very interesting discussion. I love the discourse. Thanks to you, and you're very very articulate as well. And I enjoyed,
Thank you.
having you on the panel.
Sure, no problem. I mean, I've been up since like 6 o'clock this morning, so this is a little late for me.
Well, look, I woke up at 3, okay, and then went back to sleep at 5 and woke back up again. Yeah, I had to pull it together for F Your Feelings Friday. But thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for playing the game. You're always welcome. And you all, this has been an episode of F Your Feelings Friday. Did you have any closing arguments before we get off the witness stand?
About what? OJ did it. OJ did it.
She said OJ did it. Oh my God. You're gonna get my channel flagged. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
No, but thank you for having me. I know I'm a little talkative, so I can go. I could be a little long-winded, but I enjoyed.
Yes, I think the chat enjoyed you as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out, you all. This has been an episode of F Your Feelings Friday. Oh, I forgot, you all. We were supposed to So, I did not do this. I was supposed to give thanks. Usually we start off by giving thanks. So let me just do that very quickly. We're going to join hands and bow our head, you all. We have in church, okay? We want to give thanks, you all, for Miss Go Sugar and Miss Melanated Chicks. Shout out to her. And we want to basically thank you all for our health, for our strength, for being in our right minds and of sound judgment, having the activity of our limbs, for having food, shelter, habitat, clothes on our bodies, reliable transportation, the fact that, we can get out of the bed and breathe on our own. Some people didn't make it today. Some people are on breathing machines. So we want to thank our creators, our ancestors, and all our spiritual guides that protect us each and every day. Let the church say amen.
Amen.
All right. And normally, that's right. And normally I would open the floor for any testimonies. So my testimony, you all, is that on Monday, my clients and I, they closed on their house. So shout out to them. And they finally have a brand new constructed house. And I was, very honored to be their realtor. Any testimonies for you for this week?
Well, congratulations. I don't know. You put me on the spot. I have to think about my week. I made it through the week.
There you
Amen.
go. Testimony. Thank you, universe, for her. All right, y'all. So with that being said, I would light a candle, but I'm not going through all of that just to turn my camera back on, y'all. We light candles around here to manifest our dreams and desires into fruition. We're gonna have to do that next time when I get a better setup here. But let's go ahead and close out. This has been an episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful, FL Feelings Friday. Please feel free to join us next time. Anytime, you can come up here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, everyone, if you enjoyed this little rendition here. All right, y'all, we're signing out.
Bye.